Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council, and I have another author with me today. I hope you enjoy reading and learning a lot of really unusual things. And a lot of our authors have a lot of very, all kinds of variety that we can share with you. But I think today's subject is a little bit different from what most people would encounter. This is Lissa Brown. And Lissa is the author, good morning, and you're the author of a book that would probably sort of make you sit up and go, what? The name of the book is Another F Word, sure. But the F word's not quite what we think.
No, it is not. There are a number of F words out there, and when I speak with groups of young people, of course, they're all just eager to raise their hand and tell me all the F words that they know, but I tell them, nope, don't need to do that. This book is about bullying.
That's a big topic these days.
Very timely topic. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the good thing about the topic is that it's much more talked about today. Yes. Mm-hmm. People have finally become aware that it's not just a stage that kids are supposed to go through. Mm-hmm. It is, unfortunately, in some cases, literally a matter of life and death.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I wrote this book. It's a novel. Mm-hmm. It is fiction. Anybody out there thinks they're in the book, you're not. But it is a story that's designed to raise awareness, mm-hmm. particularly among older teens and adults, mm-hmm. of the devastating effects that bullying has not only on the victim, on the bully. Mm-hmm. In this book, there are many bullies, starting with a father.
Wow, okay.
Including a preacher, including people who work in the schools. Mm-hmm. We can find them everywhere, unfortunately. And it shows the devastating effects of bullying on an entire family.
Wow, and even a community.
And a community, definitely.
Right. Now, what got you interested in this whole subject?
Well, interestingly enough, this whole process for me began a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. I was driving home from Boone one day, out to Ashe County where I live, and there was a small pickup truck in front of me. And, you know, when I sit at a light, I look around, I read things. There was a bumper sticker, and it said, I just cringed to even say it, Santa hates Jewish kids. And I looked at that, and at first I thought, no, Lissa, you read wrong. Well, we got to the next light, and I looked again, and I had not read wrong. That's exactly what it said. And I just, you know, I had a whole bunch of different reactions, mm-hmm. but the one that stuck with me for days after was, what is wrong with some adults that they would do this knowing how hurtful it could be to some children?
Right.
And I could not get this thought out of my head for days. I kind of brooded about it, you know. And then I thought, well, I need to write about this. I need to tell a story, make up a story, but have enough of reality in it so that anyone who reads this can relate to it. Because every character in this book is represented in a way that somebody out there knows people just like that.
Okay, now what is your background? How did you derive these characters?
Well, this particular book is the second novel that I've written.
Right.
I have a very varied background. I've written for, well, I guess since I was about 7. I've been a columnist. I've written articles. I write essays. I've done quite a bit of humorous writing.
Interesting.
So I write a variety of things. Yes. I just love to write.
And so your way of communicating how you were feeling about this bumper sticker was your writing?
Exactly.
Okay. And this has grown into what? I know you speak about this book. And so what has happened as a result of you writing this book?
The most important thing that's happened is that I have had the opportunity to go around and speak with groups. I was just in Arkansas last week, talking to a number of different groups. I've spoken with groups here. I will continue to do that, trying to raise awareness on the part of adults mainly, that we need to be careful about the things that we do because, sorry to say, but we are the ones who've created the environment in which
Right.
bullying thrives. So we have to become part of the solution. And this book, I think, will show people some directions, not major things they need to
Right.
do, but small things in their everyday lives that they can do to help a child who's being bullied or to intervene in some way to try to put a stop to this.
So your timing in writing this book really had nothing to do with the growing awareness nationally. It just happened that it was coincidental to this?
Yes, that's exactly true. And of course, in order to write the book, I had to do a ton of research.
Right.
Because I'm a former teacher. In
I
another
kind of
life,
had a feeling.
in another life, I taught junior high school and high school, and unfortunately saw loads of bullying there.
Of
But I've
course.
also seen it among adults. I
Sure.
mean, I worked in politics for a number of years, and they have honed bullying to a fine art.
Oh, yes.
Sorry to say. But yes, I came to this really because of that particular incident, and then from there went and did a lot of research so that it's real, even though it's fiction.
Right.
And
I'm
I think it's a book that a lot of people can relate to.
I think most authors will often tell me that they're, whether it's conscious or subconscious, people they have, or in situations they've encountered in their lifetime, often find a way into their books in some fashion, but it's usually not an identifiable, that's so-and-so, But
Yes, although I will tell you, and anybody who writes fiction will back this up, when you write a novel, people will see things in there that you never imagined. They will see themselves in there. They will see their family in there. It's, I guess that's the good thing about reading fiction. I'm a reader first. I
Right.
love to read. You can see into it whatever you want to. So just reading a book is a very creative endeavor.
I think that's a sign, though, of a really good book when people can interpret it in ways that are relevant to them, and relevant to their lives and their circumstances that may be completely unique from what someone else who also reads the same book reads into it. So I think that's a good mark. That's a very strong characteristic. And define bullying in your verbiage.
Bullying, and this is a general definition, people have different twists to it, but the one that I use is it's an act that is performed by a person or a group that has more power than the one it's aimed at, who has lesser power, at least perceived to be.
Right.
It's done with the intent of causing harm, and very important, it's done over a long period of time. So that, for example, if one child goes over to another on the playground and punches them in the nose, that's not necessarily bullying if it's a one-time thing. Yes, it's mean, and there may be a power difference, but if it doesn't happen over a prolonged period of time, it really doesn't meet the standard to be described as bullying.
So it's harassment.
We tend to use that term a little bit. It's harassment, it's assault, it's all kinds of things, not necessarily bullying.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Now, your previous book was what?
My previous book was also a novel. It is called Family Secrets, 3 Generations, completely different from this. Story about a young girl growing up in a fairly dysfunctional family, and she reaches out. She needs some kind of mentoring, somebody to have her back, and she finds this in her dead grandmother.
Really?
And she establishes in a relationship, and that's one of the family secrets, that's the title. And the 3 generations thing comes in because their relationship actually manages to save 3 generations of women in that family.
That sounds intriguing.
And I'm a big fan of a sharp twist in the plot, and that's got one too.
Oh, fascinating.
As does
that's
this
a
book.
cliffhanger, literally. So, now what's next? Are you writing another book?
I do plan to do a sequel to this. Each time I've written, people have said, "Oh, you're going to do a sequel." Well, this time I am. I have decided that this year, 2013, I'm devoting to speaking, taking the message about bullying to as many places as will have me. And when that's finished, I do intend to sit down and write a sequel. As soon as I figure out what happens.
Okay, well, I can't wait to find out.
Well, it's available in an ebook
That
format.
was my next question. Where can you get it?
On Amazon.com. They will order it from Black Bear Books.
Right.
I don't know if there's a shipping charge involved. It's available as an ebook and as a paperback on Amazon.com.
Okay.
And if somebody local would like to get one personally signed, they can contact me through my website, lissabrownwrites.com.
That's great. That's good. And so they can also probably learn a lot more about your book, more in-depth information.
Yes, they can, and about me, and see pictures of where I live and so forth.
That's cool. That is really cool. So we're just going to have to wait for the next one?
We, including me. I'm waiting for the next one too, absolutely. But in the meantime, I do hope that this will serve a purpose, not only be an entertaining story, but give people some idea of what they might do to solve a really serious problem.
That's very interesting. Okay, now I did the last interview I did with an author. I forgot to mention this, so I'm going to mention it today, and hope that you're carrying this information with you. You know, the Arts Council's working on Blue Ridge Art Space, and we're getting ready to open, and then we're going to be having a second Saturday studio and gallery hop. And at our previous gallery crawls and events like that, we've always tried to have an author, and Lissa was one of our recent authors, as are many of the authors that I bring to meet you, to sign books and to talk to you about their books in person. And so I'm sure that Lissa will be glad to come back and give you a little more information at a future time.
I'd love to.
Another second Saturday that you'll come and sign some books and talk about it. So, and then maybe by then she'll have some idea what the next one's going to be, and you can find that out. Please check Lissa's website, check the Arts Council's website, watauga-arts.org, for this and so much more.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.